Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. First of all, let me thank you all for coming this video today. And before we begin, let me introduce myself briefly. I am Rodhiyatun Nisa, the student of Islamic Education Department of Maulana Malik Ibrahim State Islamic University. As you can see on the screen, our topic today is strategic role of Islamic religious education in strengthening character education in the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. Okay, this is structure our topic, and I will start off by explaining Islamic education. Then I will continue by the Industrial Revolution 4.0. After that, I will go to strengthening character education, and next I will explain the strategic role of Islamic religious education in strengthening character education in the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. And finally, I will offer some summarizing that the main points. But before that, did you know what pictures this is? Yeah. This is a picture of a group of students fighting. We are currently in state of moral crisis. And who is responsible for it? Yeah. You know, often when cultural crises occur, education are directed at religious education as the cause. This is very reasonable, considering that Islamic religious education is at the forefront of preparing quality human resource, both in hard skills and soft skills. The question that arises is, where is the strategic role of Islamic religious education in strengthening character of the Industrial Revolution 4.0? This question must then be answered as a challenge to extension of Islamic religion education in the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. And before continuing, let us first know what is Islamic education. Yeah, in this part of my presentation, I would like to tell you about Islamic education. In this part, Islamic religious education etymologically is often interpreted as an education based on the teaching of Islam. In detail, the definition of Islamic religious education stated in the curriculum of Islamic religious education in 2004. Islamic religious education is a conscious and deliberate effort to prepare students to recognize, understand, appreciate, to believe, feel, and humble in the teaching of Islam and its main source of the Holy Book, Quran, and Al-Hadith through guidance, teaching practice, and the use of experience. From the very clear understanding that Islamic religious education is an educative process that leads to the formation of good character. Islamic religious education domains include domain of cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Let's move on the next point. I will continue by presenting Industrial Revolution 4.0. 4.0 industry concept was first introduced in Germany as proposal to develop new industrial policy. Based on the most advanced technology strategy that was held in Hanover in 2011. 4.0, the concept of industry includes cyber physical system, the Internet of Things or IoT, and the Internet of Service IUS. In this period of human labor is replaced by the use of mechanical machines using water and steam energy. Currently, what is known as the era of Industry 4.0, a smart industrial era where digital devices are connected and communication occurs between raw material, semi-finished products, machinery, equipment, robots, and humans. This now leads us to my next point about strengthening the character education. What is character? Yes, character is a combination of several elements that make up a person's superior and affirm who we are, who we are. Um, and then a good character has three sections that deal the moral knowledge, moral feeling, and moral action. And then this is five values in character education. Um, Education character have 18 character forming values that have been indeed identified and the result of empirical studies curriculum center. But the previous character education include 18 character values, both 5 character values are like religious, nationalist, integrity, cooperation, and independence. The first, religious character values reflect an attitude of faith toward good enmity. And nationalists, the value of nationalist character is a way of thinking and behaving that show concern and respect to the language, environmental, and social, culture, economic, political, and national. And the three, yakni is independence. The value of an independent character is an attitude and behavior doesn't depend on other. And cooperation, the character values of mutual cooperation express it. The action reflects the spirit of cooperation in solving common problems and give help or aid to people in it. And the last, yes, integrity. The character value integrity are valued the honorly behavior in order to make himself a trustworthy person. This led directly to the last point of my talk. I will explain about the strategic role of Islamic religious education in strengthening culture education in the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. The fourth Industrial Revolution or Industrial 4.0 has become a major topic throughout the world. 4.0 industrial age could a quick response around the world, include Indonesia. The Indonesian government applied to Indonesian people its own aspect of technology literacy, especially in the aspect of education. At present, the so-called 4.0 era is the era in which information can be quickly disseminated and received from various parts of the world. Through the smartphone can access a variety of information and translation, open access to communication and um, information may be misused and have a negative impact if not accompanied by a good character. Um, and then in the face of this 4.0 industrial revolution era, must to be prepared mentally and skilled that have a competitive advantage. Competitive on the other, the main skills a must have is to have a good behavior and spirit literacy. And then in the ideal function, Islamic education becomes the control value and direct the development of the society. In this case, Islamic education to exercise control and direction through the evaluation and recommendation. The function of the direction in question is that education is supposed to help humans perform the function of the caliphate through the provision of knowledge, skills, and expertise needed themselves and the community, especially in the era of industrial 4.0 that desperately need vocational skills and digitization. Um, well, this brings me to the end of my presentation. But before I stop, let me briefly summarize what I've so far. Yeah, strengthening the culture education through Islamic education became a strategic step in shaping the culture of young generation in the era of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. The reason is demography. 87 and 2% of Indonesia people are followers of Islam. It became compulsory subject are taught from early childhood education level to university so as to allow the information of character gradually and continuously. In the era of information access, openness allows people receive a variety information and could eventually affect for even change the way thinking and behaving. And here, Islamic education acts as a facilitator that facilitates people to learn and practice actually all the potential in accordance with the guidance of Islamic teachings. The formation of a religious teacher, self and mutual helpers in the learning Islamic religious education, implement through character-based learning and habitation to carry out the rituals of worship and deepening of spiritual values. As part of the national education system, it to the providing of social reconstruction based curriculum-oriented learner the ability to adapt to the development of the modern world that is highly competitive, but still holistic integrative religious character. This Islamic education seeks to prepare a generation that will have character values, religious, and able to prosper life based on technology. Okay, thank you all for attention. I hope that well I have said can benefit us all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Is there any question?